And as Sir Topham Hatt would say, causing confusion and delay.
And we all saw what happened last night.
We did.
The Gear Wrench Pro Renner popped their head into the middle of the field and said, "Hi, guys."
Hey, I'm here now.
And then picked up the trophy and went home with it.
Yeah.
Jacob Rogers would like to know if there are any Kingswood wagons in competition.
Oh, the Kingswood.
Are you a fan of the Kingswood?
Mighty Kingswood. That was a deal from Drag Week a couple years ago. There was a Kingswood wagon competing, so we made a huge deal out of it every time it came around. So Kingswood, the ultimate in luxury. We had this whole kind of thing going on with the wagon. Gear Wrench Pro final to the lanes, please. Gear Wrench Pro final to the lanes, please. The Biddle station wagon was the most high-profile wagon of the day. That 250-odd foot wheel stand that wagon pulled earlier.
That would definitely get the Quality of Showmanship Award.
Yep.
If we had something like that. Maybe it can be some Dale Peeps.
Ooh, see? See, even if I got a box tonight and opened her up, brought her in tomorrow, we don't have enough time to season these things properly. It's like a skillet. You know, you got to season a skillet. It's like you got to season your peeps.
Yeah, you cannot just go throw a steak down in a freshly purchased skillet. You've really got to make sure that that thing is done up right. But I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. So did the Kingswood wagon? What was the wagon that had that foldable back seat? I don't know if that's a Kingswood.
Yeah, it was like a 9-passenger, like the old GM wagons. You had that 9-passenger like option where the seat would actually fold down into the floor, and then you unfold the seat, and you'd have like a footwell and stuff. So I'm almost 100% sure you could have that foldable seat in a Kingswood wagon.
That would be a good thing. That would be a good thing.
The two-way tailgate was a big deal in the Kingswood. You could option that so the tailgate could flop down like a truck tailgate or open like a door.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember that on some of those. But I think one of my favorite cars as a kid, kind of from the era where I was at, just because it was one of those things, and I mean now riding in the back of a truck is like almost, forbidden. Yeah, like you're not allowed to do it, which I think so many kids are missing out on that opportunity.
You're going to say Subaru Brat. You're going to say Subaru Brat. I'm taking it right out of your mouth.
You got the two seats back there that already have the grips, as we would call them, the ocean grips that you could hold on to, and that was a heck of a ride.
The Brat.
The Subaru Brat.
They brought that thing back like in the early 2000s, but it did not have the railroad mounted seats, of course. But the OG one had the back seats. Yeah.
Yeah. You had to have the seats in there.
It had like 3 inches of ground clearance, like 12 horsepower, but it did have the seats in the back.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like you could actually get over a speed bump in a parking lot.
But you could be chilling back there.
Right.
And the bed was so small you didn't even have a lot of leg room.
That is true. Once you got taller, you'd have to kick your feet up onto the tailgate.
But I do remember seeing those things as a kid, thinking they were cool too, because I was like, man, it's got seats mounted in the back.
Yeah, I remember our neighbors had one of them, and it was one of those things. Anytime it was time to run down to the 7-Eleven on the corner and get Slurpees, it was like a race to see who would get to the two back seats first. Normally, everybody's yelling shotgun. They're trying to get in the front seat. With that car, everybody's like, no, I'm getting in the back.
If you were a kid that had a 3-wheeler and then rode around in the back of a Brat and lived, you're like invincible. And you probably played lawn darts too. You lived through all of it.
We did play lawn darts.
Yeah, see, that's
lived through the lawn darts.
3 of the deadliest things that ever came to pass: lawn darts, 3-wheelers, and Brats.
Yeah. Do you remember what was it? The something critters, where essentially you would mix up the goop. It was like the boys' version of the Easy Bake Oven. Again, they had those very gender-specific toys back when we were growing up.
As a kid on like Saturday morning cartoons.
Yes.
There would be like a mad scientist guy.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So you had like the Easy Bake Oven where you'd put the dough in there and put it under like scalding hot light bulb, and then for the other side you had that scalding hot light bulb beneath a plastic tray. Right. You would mix up the goop and you'd pour it into the little molds, and the tray would, the rubbery plastic would kind of harden, and you'd pull out this jiggly critter thing that, not that you could really do anything with it, and it tasted like chalk.
But
why I knew what it tasted like, I don't know, but it was like soap and chalk combined. But some of those toys of the 80s were some of the best. BB guns, had to have BB guns. I mean, how many kids now get like a bow and arrow sitting under the Christmas tree on
I think you got to register with like 9 state agencies now. Right?
Well, Jennifer Weens called out the creepy crawlers. They were creepy crawlers. That was certainly the one.
Man. People know stuff. It's like a giant collective brain in that chat room.
I would agree. Mike English with the old Vista Cruisers to the front. Creepy crawlers are out there. Speaking of which, a picture that Mike Eames sent a little bit earlier looks like a creepy crawler.
So I feel like we're definitely in our target demo here because the creepy crawlers answers are coming in hot and heavy. Everybody knows what these things are, so that's kind of funny.
I would agree, NHRA Mom. If you held a flashlight for your dad, there's nothing that anybody can say that would hurt my feelings. Because no matter where you were pointing it, it was never in the right spot. And when you'd get sent to the toolbox in the garage to go look for the 9/16 end wrench, you'd be like, it's right there in the drawer, and you're like searching through the entire drawer, and he comes out, gets all mad, and realizes that he left it on the tool bench.
Yeah. The single bead of sweat running down your forehead because you can't find it. You know you cannot walk back over there without it in your hand. Yeah.
You know that you're not going to get out of this one without Olds Delta 88 hatchback wagon. All right. Marco. So we have made a call out for our pro final. Apparently we have one, but not both. And the car we are missing is Kyle Rizzoli. So Kyle Rizzoli, if you would please join us up here in the staging lanes, that would be awesome. That would be great. Yeah, Jacob Rogers throwing out there the old wrist rockets.
Oh, wrist rockets, yeah.
Like, how many people nowadays would actually hand a slingshot to their kid? I will. As long as we're not anywhere near the house.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But yeah, you had the wrist rockets. Of course, every kid growing up had the BB guns. Yes, Road Rush. Heaven help you if you did put the tool back in the wrong. Even though your dad left it on the tool bench, if you didn't put it back in the drawer when you took it back there.
McKenna has gone next level here as he has actually sent a photo of the box of the creepy crawler toy thing.
Jill.
This is Kevin.
Was that Kevin?
No,
Okay.
Jill doesn't care enough to do something like this.
She just has her like definite abhorrence.
She would have had to put the wine down to do something like that. So this is Kevin. Kevin was definitely handling the.
See,
Google
Kevin
food.
is the man.
Yeah.
You remember those things? Those things are fantastic. I think the one story that I have as a kid was, we did get the bow and arrows that basically had just a little target tip on them and all that kind of stuff. And I started to tell this the other night, but we were standing in the backyard of the house. My aunt and uncle had come down with our cousins. They had brought their motorhome down, had parked it in the driveway. We're in the backyard of the house, and for some reason, like most people seem to believe it's a really fun game to do as a kid, and then you realize exactly how crazy and silly the game actually was, where you try to shoot the arrow as straight up into the air as you can. Everybody stands there, and then you run away hoping that somebody doesn't get slain by an arrow that's coming back down to earth at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
Good times, man.
Yeah. Well, apparently my aim was off. I shot the arrow. It went straight up into the air, and instead of coming down in the backyard, it went over the other side of the house and went straight into the roof of my uncle's motorhome, pierced completely through. And the weird thing is, I'm sitting here, it's like we've got a perfectly good house. We've got a perfectly good house with like 2 bathrooms in there that he could have used, but for some reason he was in his bathroom in the motorhome using it at the time that the arrow came through the roof. It didn't go all the way in, but I'm sure that was probably a moment that he still remembers to this day, having an arrow come through the roof of the motorhome while he was in there trying to have a little alone time.
Whoopsie doodle.
Whoops. I think the funny part of the story is all of us went running out into the front yard trying to find the arrow before we got busted, but nobody had the visibility to see that it was in the tunnel. So we're out there scrambling, trying to looking for this arrow for like 5 minutes. And finally, my uncle comes out of the motorhome because you lose something. No? What are you talking about?
Must have been somebody else shot that thing.
Oh, so yeah, that one was a heck of a day, to say the least. So what else? You got the creepy crawlers. I remember those. Stretch Armstrong.
Oh yeah, Stretch Armstrong was a big one. Everybody had one of those things. G.I. Joe stuff. Do you have any cool G.I. Joe stuff? I had the aircraft carrier. That was like the centerpiece of the G.I. Joe collection as a kid.
Yeah, I did not have the aircraft carrier. Here's Super Pro. Super Pro, let's get you headed back to the front of the staging lanes to get you laddered up, please. Super Pro, let's get you back to the front of the staging lanes. And even my wife goes, was that Steve or Bill? It was Uncle Steve.
It's all trucks, man. I just had trucks and cars to play with, and it was great. It was Hot Wheels and everything else, like everybody else, you know.
Had the Transformer stuff.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of the Transformer stuff.
Then there was the GoBots, which were like the off-brand Transformers. Remember that?
Yes.
So there was, just like you have Hydrox and Oreos, you had Transformers, and then there was GoBots. And like, I had an aunt that would be very well-meaning, and she would like give me some GoBot stuff and be like, what are you doing?
Like,
Do you even know who you're talking to here?
Like the other kids down the street are getting gold, and you're bringing me like silver-plated plastic.
My Aunt Sue, still have every one of them. Every single year, she would hook me up with Diamond P tapes for Christmas. Every year, and they walked away. The drag racing annual, it was like, it became the thing on Christmas. Like every year, it's like, come on, Sue.
That is an aunt who truly understood.
Yeah, still have them all.
What her nephew was craving.
I don't know way to play them anymore, but I still have a pile of VHS tapes.
I may actually have a VHS player that works in my garage.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I think you can buy them off of Amazon or something.
You might be able to. We can make a deal here.
Trade you some peeps for the
well,
some peeps for the VCR.
Well, what I'm thinking is, I mean, I could even like give you or ship you the VCR, as long as you're maybe like willing to record the VHS tapes onto digital. Because I mean, you could take those and record them into digital, then, you know.
Well, Nate, that would be a copyright violation.
I didn't say anything about giving them.
Let's take this conversation offline.
What I'm offering to you is not for you to give me those tapes for viewing. I will hold them for you as a backup in case anything should happen to your VHS tapes. It's an off-site digital vault.
This sounds like the type of deal a guy who sat at Meyer Lansky's desk would make. Be a real shame something happened to them tapes, huh? Kyle Rizzoli and Nikki Thomas are rolling up. It is the final in pro. The winner here will get a $500 bonus, and they will head into the remaining field of cars, our Super Pro field, down to 8. So we're going to have 9 cars remaining in competition tonight. Nikki Thomas has been, at times, literally perfect. A perfect light recorded earlier today in this 1991 S10 truck. Kyle Rizzoli has done what every good bracket racer does, which is to be good enough to win each round. I can't say there's one point in Kyle Rizzoli's day that jumps out at me when he was dead on with a 0 or totally perfect, but he was winning every single round by whatever means necessary.
Just like we've seen a lot of drivers doing out here. Just be better than the opponent in the other lane. So Nikki Thomas with the 634, Kyle Rizzoli with the 631. When we were down at this point last night, it was Schmall who was able to light up the scoreboard and continue on in the competition. Tonight, it will either be Nikki Thomas in the S10 pickup truck out of Ohio, or it'll be Kyle Rizzoli in the Camaro out of California. A $500 bonus, thanks to Gear Wrench Pro on this side for the last car standing out of this field.
Rizzoli's car makes a dead to the right side. The drive ladder up, but it tried to rotate on its own axis, and Nikki Thomas goes 641.0 at 95 miles an hour, 005 light, and that was crazy.
Wow. Just a wild move out of Rizzoli's car as it makes a beeline towards the wall. He was able to gather it up, save it before anything serious happened out there. But Nikki Thomas is going to continue on, and for Kyle Rizzoli, that was just one of the weirdest things that we've seen happen all day long.
Yeah, that car has just been so dead consistent. The starting line officials out there looking at it, the tracks that the thing left were just bizarre. I mean, it just turned like it was on a sheet of ice. A couple of things to go over here, Nate. First off, the morning is always a crush of people wanting to buy a tech car downstairs to get into the million. You have a chance to do that right now. You don't have to be part of the rush, the line, the craziness down there. Take the opportunity now, get your tech card, get signed up, ready to rock and roll. If you decide not to run the million, you can get a refund. If you buy a tech card, something happens. If you're going to make the run in the morning, the run for the 50 grand, which everybody's eligible to do, pay the 50 bucks, anybody can do it. If you go out there and something happens to the car, you cannot run the million, and you have not run first round, you can hand your tech card back in and get a refund. So get the tech card tonight. Help us help yourself so there's not a big crush of people down there. Then you're going to be in better shape to run for the 50K.
That is I mean, really the way to go about it. Again, like we were saying, tomorrow morning, it's going to be hectic. There's a lot of people. They're going to have a lot on their mind. I know a lot of folks are really kind of waiting for that last minute, but like you said, the opportunity to turn it back in, you're not locked into the deal. So it's, not like you're going to be sitting there going, man, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But you can come up here, get your tech card tonight, and then you've got the morning that you're not worried about getting up here to get it. You're not worried about what's happening. If you are going to go out and make the time run, you're focused solely on that. That is one of the things that that is pretty cool about the way that Peter and Kyle do this whole deal down here. So we got our Super Pro cars. The 8 that are remaining are back in the staging lanes. They are getting paired up. Still bringing up some of the greats of the childhood days. The slip and slide.
Oh, totally awesome.
Where essentially as a kid you didn't care if you would go on a dead run and then fling yourself onto the ground. I don't know what the ground was like growing up where you were at.
Well, it wasn't like out here where everything's just rocks and trying to cut you to ribbons. So we had actually grass and stuff and hills.
Yeah, I mean, we would find like places at the park and things like that that would have the grass, but I'm still saying there was not a lot of give in that ground.
No, it's all hard pack out here.
Oh,
yeah.
And as soon as you would fling yourself onto that plastic, zero padding, you didn't care. You were sliding on the grass. You were sliding on the slip and slide. Everything was good. But every time you would hit that thing, it would like knock the wind out of you. You'd be like, oh, I'm having a great time. Oh, this is so fun. Oh, slip and slides were awesome. But now out here, in the desert heat, you'd go to the park, and you had the metal slides.
Oh man! I mean, they got hot at home. It must have been like molten lava here.
Bake in the sun all day long.
Yeah. It's like sizzle when you sat down on it.
Oh, it was horrible. But we didn't care.
It smelled like somebody cooking bacon when you ride down the slide.
Or that neighbor kid down the street that his parents hadn't made him shower in like 2 weeks.
Ooh.
He'd hit that hot slide, and you'd be like, no, I'm good. I don't need to go on the slide anymore. Oh, there was a lot of fun stuff out there. .
So again, a reminder, you can grab your Million Tech card tonight to save yourself the trouble, to save yourself the hustle of trying to get a tech card in the morning and then jump in line to run the Rodex run for the 50K. Get the card tonight, get it done, and then in the morning you'll be ready to square off in the staging lanes for the run for the 50K.
Yeah, you'll be able to do your pre-race preparations, whatever those are for you. Mike English tossing out there that he did the slip and slide last summer. Are you serious? Slip and slide at the neighbor's house? No, Mike. We're talking about a slip and slide that kids go on, not a slip and fall. That you need to use your, what's the help I've fallen and can't get up button?
Yeah.
Medic alert.
Well, Mike was there with Moses the first time that they accidentally created the slip and slide. He and Moses were in high school together.
As everybody was trying to get down to the bottom of the sea.
Yeah, they're trying to get down.
Slipping and sliding their way down there.
They say, wait a second.
In the sandals.
There's a light went on in someone's head. Got people chiming in from all over the globe here. The slide is no joke. The slide, we're talking about the heat of the slide.
Yes.
Slide is no joke.
That thing was.
According to a Pro Stock World Champion.
And you always knew that one kid, because especially in our world, you had the shorts on and you knew that you had to keep the shorts between you and the slide.
Oh, it's a lifeline.
But
that's
you
it.
always knew the one kid who didn't, because you'd get that terrible squealing sound of the skin hitting the metal on the slide good. That would just kind of, worse than fingers on a chalkboard, just good. That as their skin sizzled its way down to the bone.
Horrendousness.
It was horrible.
Tire swings? You have any tire swings?
We didn't have trees.
Oh, that's right too, guys. Don't have any trees.
We didn't really have a whole lot of trees that would support a tire swing.
Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of an out thing. The one thing that we did have around here that was kind of fun is before they got the really good, and I know this sounds a little bit weird, but before we had the really good flood control in the summertime here, we would get the monsoons.
Sure.
And before we had really good flood control in place, the city streets here, I mean, they would flood like biblical proportions, raging rivers type floods. And there was a street up next to our house, it was Westcliff, that, you know, a lot of the locals know where Westcliff was. And up at the top of it now, like Buffalo, it was kind of the end of the world when I was growing up in that neighborhood. But we actually kept an inflatable raft in our garage.
And you guys would go rafting down the street?
Oh, yeah. Like at summertime when it was monsoon season, we would go blow up the raft, and my dad was the one to be like, guys, the street's flooded, get the raft. And he would put the raft in the back of the truck. He would drive us up to the top of Westcliff, and we'd ride from Buffalo all the way down to Rainbow, which is probably a good 3-mile stretch.
No way.
And I mean, we would
just... It was like being on a river?
We'd ride it down the river. We didn't think about the fact that it was probably washing like rattlesnakes and scorpions and all kinds of other poisonous animals down.
The horrendousness in that water is beyond description.
As long as you stayed in the boat, you weren't in the water.
It's like the kid in the slide with the pants. You got to be real careful. You're playing a dangerous game.
Right. You just have to make sure that you're doing it right. But yeah, I mean, we would, and if the water was still running good, I mean, it would run for hours.
Yeah.
He'd pick us up at the bottom of Rainbow, and we'd take us right back up to the top, and away we'd go again. So it was a heck of a thing to do.
We just had snow, so we built snow forts in that probably should have all collapsed and killed us all. We were kids, but they didn't. So let's tunnel into this like 8-foot snowbank and see how deep we can get in it. Okay, what could possibly happen?
Who's not going to come back home tonight, Billy?
Yeah.
Where's Billy? No, he's okay. Where's he at? He decided to sleep outside tonight.
There's 300 tons of snow above you. Let's just dig a tunnel so far in.
Oh my goodness. Did you skateboard down the Alta Hill? Did you really? Dude, and back then the skateboards, there were those tiny little 70s style skateboards that look like, you know, the fish that people stick on the back of their car to show their belief in God at this point in time. I mean, those little skateboards right there, that was like living on the edge. A face plant down the hill on Alta was like certain death.
Fatality.
Oh, it was over. Have I ever been thrown off of a fast-moving merry-go-round or been hit it? Oh.
Here comes Dylan Howe and Honey Wayne. Hunter Patton and Dylan Howe coming to the starting line. You gotta love this. Young guy versus really young guy. Young guy who has won a pile of money versus young guy who has barely gotten his ears wet in this world of high stakes, high dollar bracket racing.
And by saying this, I certainly mean like no disrespect to anybody else that's lined up against Dylan Howe this week or the last time we were out here at a bracket race. But Dylan Howe, kind of like a prize fighter, has been earning his way up through the ranks, and now you got Hunter Patton sitting over the left side, like heavyweight champ of the world, sitting over the left lane, 458. Hunter for a while was like the hottest shoe on the planet in the world of bracket racing, and Dylan Howe going to roll up here, and we'll see if he can lay one down against Hunter Patton.
Yeah, I love it. I really like this matchup here to get us kicked off. It's a shame that one of these two guys is going to be departing our company tonight in terms of competition, but we're going to find out exactly who's got the chops to move into the round of what will be 5 cars.
So with a 200 difference in the dial, Hunter Patton will be doing the chasing. Dylan Howe will be doing the running. Dylan Howe ain't scared. How about 007 and dead on 4 for Dylan? Laying it down big time there against Hunter Patton. Hunter Patton was 14 on the tree, getting their first 7th thou and breaking out 10th thou. Dylan Howe is continuing to prove that he is rapid. I mean, this kid's going to end up on the drag champ list.
Absolutely monster run, 11 pack. Patton was 14, ran 1 under, going 457 on a 458 dial, and he only took 7th thou versus Stripe. Just a little nibble down there, but Hunter Patton is out. Dylan Howe's moving on.
Now Austin Williams and Dave Mazier. Talking about kind of that split, seeing some of the difference in the age groupings that are out here representing in this round of 8. Dave Mazier representing some of the more experienced racers down the racetrack. 471 the dial for Dave on the right side. Austin Williams dialed in a 1/10 of a second quicker than that with a 461.
Williams has won all the stuff, multi-time world champion, totally gets the pressure situations. They leave off the starting line with Dave Mazier. Count your chickens for their hatch, kid. But it is going to be Austin Williams. Mazier was 18, Williams was 31. It looked like curtains for him, but he goes dead on 3, taking 6 thousandths worth of stripe and winning the round. Dave Mazier's car, he started darting all over the place at the top end as he was killing speed at only 144 miles an hour.
So we've had a 7th thou stripe, we've had a 6th thou stripe as Shannon Justice and Don Butkowitz are rolling up here now. Don on the left side out of New Jersey, Shannon Justice on the right side out of North Carolina. Both drivers represent the eastern half of the United States. 487 to a 483. This time on the scoreboards.
Justice creeps in there to pre-stage and goes right into the fully staged spot. Butkowitz wastes no time, is in there as well. Red light start for Justice by a single hour. 1 red for Shannon Justice. Don Butkowitz moves on to the next round, 484-2, 483 dial. It was all over as soon as Shannon left the thou early.
So when we come back next time, you got Nikki Thomas that's going to be joining into the mix with her 005 light. Austin Williams with the 031 light. Dylan Howe with the 007 light. Butkowitz with the 023 light. And it'll be either Dustin Hinches or Sean Hart who will be coming back to fill out the 5.
And the honest answer is if neither of these cars go better than a 005, I believe that means Thomas is going to have to buy.
I'm trying to think back if I saw Thomas get a buy earlier in the day or not.
That's true. It's going to have to rotate through. Yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Hinch is going to have the head start. Dead-on 0 run for Justin Henches. 18 reaction time, 618-0, 618 dial, taken 25 hun at the stripe to move on. Sean Hart was one over, going 484.7 on a 483 dial, 026 reaction time. But Dustin Henches, very well driven, very well done, and he has made it to the final 5. Subject to lawn darts came up. Obviously, we brought that up before during the commercial break where we talked our way through and we're idiots not knowing we're on it. But yeah, I played lawn darts. I'm sure you did too.
Yes, yes. Lawn darts were definitely a thing. But at that point, it's, yeah. They were, I guess I failed to see the dangerous level of that. Of what was the point of hurling a sharpened, heavy metal object with somebody standing on the other end of the lawn? I failed to see where that carried any danger to it.
It wasn't like you were throwing them overhand.
Right.
You know?
You were lobbing them. They were moving slow enough. If you didn't move out of the way, that was your fault.
You guys were shooting arrows straight up in the air. The lawn darts that was like a low-level activity.
It'd be like trying to judge the stripe at 220 and then coming back and doing it at 60 miles an hour. You're covered. You got plenty of time to move. If somebody happens to get a lawn dart through the foot, that was their own fault.
It was their own fault. You earned that.
Yeah. It's not one of those things you can hold somebody else. You know, whoever threw it, it's not like that thing was traveling that fast.
And who turns their back on a lawn dart game? Like, it's like, oh, you know, like you,
right.
You know?
See?
Yeah.
We're locked in there between the stale peeps and the slow-moving lawn darts.
And the brats.
Yes, Subaru brats.
Did you ever own a pair of parachute pants? It's a quintessential 80s piece of fashion.
I'm going to say I wanted the pair of parachute pants.
I did too. Never got them.
But I never got them.
Never got them.
It was one of those things where I wanted those so bad. I mean, in growing up in the elementary school days, the big thing was the zips.
Oh, zips.
Zips. Yeah. You had to have the zips tennis shoes.
Yep.
I did have a pair of those. Wore those things until there was pretty much nothing. I mean, I think those actually became the inspiration for. No, I think Birkenstocks were around before the zips, but mine looked like a pair of Birkenstocks. They basically had the rips in them and the holes, is what I kept wearing the zips because those were the shoes to have. But yeah, we had those. Let's see here, the parachute pants. Did you do what is it, the thing on the East Coast to peg your pants at a certain point in time?
Oh yeah, that was junior high.
Yeah, right around junior high.
The pants pegging.
Had to do that.
Which makes zero sense. Like, what do you? You get to folding your pants over and folding them up. Like, what is going on?
I don't really know, but that was the thing.
That should have been the tell about why social media was going to be the worst thing in the world. If everybody just decided to fold their pants up, imagine what would happen if you got to just talk to everybody all the time. What's going to happen then?
And nobody else.
Guess what happened?
Yeah, right. The world now hates each other.
Right.
Because, you know.
Z Cavarici, was that a thing? Z Cavarici pants and
totally.
Gerbeau jeans, that was a big thing.
Gerbeau jeans.
Yeah.
That was a deal.
Yep.
What was the other thing?
We had a teacher in junior high that wore the Z Cavarici pants and was like, man, this guy's cool. He's got the Z Cavarici pants on. You look back now, you think, wait a second.
It might have been another word that started with a C and ended with EP.
Maybe that guy should have been paid a little more attention to. Because why is he wearing those pants? What's he trying to accomplish?
Who's he trying to impress?
Yeah.
Little Susie Lee.
Yeah, there was, who knows?
That might have been an issue.
Dodgeball. Joe McKenna brings up Dodgeball, of course, a great game. A great game to inflict as many welts on your enemies as possible. Those red jelly balls we used to call them.
Dodgeball was certainly a way to go. Kickball.
Yeah.
Kickball. Always got to be hoped that you were called to be, part of the team in kickball, but you're right, dodgeball was certainly more degrading.
It was. Kickball was like dodgeball with ethics.
With ethics?
Yeah, kickball was just dodgeball that an ethics professor had cleaned up a little bit.
There you go.
Because you could still lay into one, and if you wanted to get, somebody in the face with a ball playing kickball or like close quarters, you could still lean into it, put a heater on somebody's chin if you wanted to. Yeah,
you could certainly do a little number on some folks. But I think one of the biggest, and I think playing dodgeball, it was always so like devastating to get hit by the ball and get knocked out, especially if you were one of the first ones.
Yeah.
But if you had like the big guy over on the other team that was kind of like the star of their team, if he was aiming at you and you were able to catch that ball and get him out, that was always like
a great day.
Like you might as well just walk off of there like, I have just saved the world from nuclear war. I'm going to drop the mic and I'm going to exit at this point in time. I'm going to go to lunchroom and eat my peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I am now king of the world.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Like a boss.
Like a boss. So the answer is in.
Well.
We had asked, did Nikki Thomas already have a bye today? The answer was
yes.
Yes.
But you know who didn't?
Who?
Some kid named Howe.
Who?
Dylan. Dylan has the bye.
Dylan Howe.
Dylan Howe has the bye.
Oh, you said Howe. I asked who.
I got you.
That's all.
Then it's going to be Henches and Williams and Thomas and Buckowicz. So guaranteed a semifinal shot. And the reality here is Thomas and Buckowicz, that is for a bye, well, potential. There's going to be one more bye into the final, but as we reset the ladder round around, you can't just look at this one and predict what's going to happen ahead. So, but we do know for a fact Dylan Howe will have the bye this round.
Just about the time, we're chasing it over there, and we get to the fence.
Oh, no.
And it lands just outside the fence as a car was coming by.
It landed on the street.
It landed in the street, and of course there was no opening at the fence for us to get there, but it landed and that car just absolutely crushed that space shuttle.
Let's bring up our final five. We need our final five to the staging lanes, please. That's how Henches, Williams, Thomas, Buckowicz to the staging lanes, please. Dave Mazier has won a $500 Auto Meter gift certificate with the best losing package of 040 in round number 7, so congrats to Dave Mazier. Jansen Melton has won a Perform Air Eclipse weather station with the best losing package of 022 in round number 6, which was our Ultronics round. So congratulations to those prize winners, please come grab your stuff from the prize vault on the first floor of the timing tower. Those are the D engines. Those are the big ones. Like there was A,
It was
C,
the D.
The D's were the heavy duty units. Yeah.
For the casual weekend rocketer,
Yes.
it was the D engines that were the big ones.
Yeah.
I mean, there were folks that got into those rockets that basically was like, build your own.
To the edge of space, they were taking.
Yes.
These things,
Yes. Did you ever get the one that had the little plastic center in the middle that you could actually put a payload in it?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The little clear tube.
Yeah.
He'd put a frog or something in there, and sometimes he'd come back, and sometimes he wouldn't. Then he'd put it back in the ground. He'd look around like having just zero conception as to what had just happened.
Well, I mean, all the other frogs would look at him and go, "Wow, an astronaut."
Science, yeah.
Yeah, definitely had those, but I do appreciate the fact that we got to grow up in the era that we grew up in, because we are asking about things like model rockets and the things that you did outside, where the kids, 2 generations behind us are like, "Dude, did you have like Super Shootout?" Or whatever the popular video game was at the time.
It's like we did stuff, man.
Man, I was like top level on Mario. Donkey Kong couldn't beat me.
It's like all my friends had 4 fingers, bro. Because we played with stupid rockets. Once again, looking for our final 5. Final 5 to the lanes, please. We got 1. Need the other 4.
I got to agree with you a little bit there, Stephen. Those were great times, and kind of looking forward to the future. I am scared for the next generation.
And they were all scared for us, too.
That's true. That's true. The lead paint didn't do anything to hurt us none.
And listen, if it tastes so good, how can it be so bad?
I agree. I agree. Mopar, man, we launched our rocket at bone-dry grass at Covina.
And there was nothing left of it.
Oh, I would agree with that. That did get me thinking about one last little deal. We were traveling home from Salt Lake. My cousins lived up in Centerville, which is kind of just north. I had cousins lived in Sandy, and cousin lived in Centerville, and we were driving home. We had stopped at a rest stop just north of Cedar City. So we're more than halfway home-ish. Stopped at a little rest stop, and I remember we were up there for the 4th of July, and I had kept this tiny little fountain in my pocket. Like, I'm going to hold on to this firework. I was like super proud that I had saved a firework from 4th of July. I was going to get home and set it off. And we stop at the rest stop. And why I thought this was a brilliant idea at the time, I don't know.
No, you didn't.
But I go over to this little tree, and in the V of the tree, I put the little fountain there, and I set it off, and I like run away, and it's kind of going off in the tree, and I'm like, it'll go out. I mean, everything else that weekend had gone out, it'll go out. So I realized that it's not going out.
The tree's on fire?
The tree is now on fire. It started small. I mean, it was just kind of smoldering and smoking and stuff like that. And, I see my mom is coming back out of the rest stop and saying, we got to go. So I'm sitting in the car. She gets in the car. As we're pulling away, I got my head cranked back around, fully looking in the rearview mirror. I see people like running over to the tree with little bottles of water, whatever it is they could. But that tree was fully engulfed by the time we got back up on the freeway. I felt horrible.
Oh, man.
I learned a lesson on that one.
Did you ever stop at that rest stop again? To see?
To this day, I will not go back there. I will not stop at that rest stop.
It's a tiny little wanted poster of you as a kid. Chubby little Nate kid sketched out on the wall.
Oh, sitting there just like...
Junior arsonist hotline.
I'm afraid I'll get attacked by whatever the 3rd generation of birds that lived in that tree. They've been waiting for you to return. And go, that's the guy. Ruined our home.
Talking about like idiot friends. We used to walk home from elementary school. We had to cross these train tracks, and they were active train tracks, so they were, we'd have to stop because trains would come by sometimes. And so this kid David, that I was friends with, decided one day it'd be hilarious to throw his house keys at the train, which he threw in front of the train. And guess where they stayed? Right on the front of the damn train. And as the train's going wah wah wah, You know, and he's looking at the rest of us. He had to sit on his front steps for like 3 hours till his parents got home from work, and then explained to him that their keys were at the rail yard in downtown Boston, or wherever it may have been. Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Genius level stuff.
That's hilarious. My wife says, let's stop at that on our way up to Salt Lake next month. No, it's on the opposite side of the freeway. Sorry, we're going to miss it.
I like it. Nah, you got to do it. This is history's mysteries, man. You got to investigate.
We're going to miss it.
Stuff.
Go back there and see if that tree is still standing and if it still bears the scars.
There's a plaque. There'll be a plaque on it.
Oh.
Looks like we got most, if not all 5 of our remaining vehicles here. If you're in competition and not in the staging lanes, please make your way to the lanes.
So $30,000, Mosier Engineering Thursday. Again, tomorrow morning, we are going to be in main event day. So it has been highly recommended. If you are even remotely considering getting into that $1 million race, get up here tonight, get that tech card purchased. Again, if for some reason you certainly decide that you're not going to participate, the option of getting that refund is there. But tonight would be the time to get up here, get your tech card, get that taken care of. And again, if you are, whether you're racing the million or not, tomorrow morning's Brodix Heads $50,000 run for the 50K is something that is open to everybody. In the million, not in the million. Tomorrow morning, you got the opportunity to get out here and make a time run. $50 will be payable in the staging lane, so it's not like you got to go anywhere in advance. I mean, you can basically sit and chill at the motorhome until you hear the call and jump in the car, bring your $50, make your way to the staging lanes. You could turn $50 into $50,000 like Steve Witherow did in Bristol when we were back there last fall. Again, a perfect run could net you $50,000, and if nobody makes the perfect run, they're going to carry that 20 grand of that into the $1 million main event should a perfect run happen there. But even if we don't see the perfect run, there's still some fantastic prizes up for grabs. A set of those Brodix SR20 heads valued at over $5,000 for the best overall package during that 50 grand run for the 50K. And again, second best prize or second best package gets $2,000. Third best package gets an entry for the 2022 Spring Fling Million. Again, it's a $50 time hit, and it could have you walking away with much more than that. Much more than that. Oh, NHRA Mom, I read that totally wrong at first. I'm going to leave it at that. Oh. So it's down to just 5 left in the game. Now apparently it is
financial negotiation time.
Negotiating. You know, if we take this much and put it over here, and we take this much and put it in bonds, and if we take this much and go ahead and go with a high risk
GameStop.
High road. Yeah.
Put it all in GameStop.
Somebody's down there on Reddit going, what's hot right now?
Yeah.
Where do we got to put that piece of the money? Or what always pops up a little bit later on, which stocks are trending best after the markets close.
Yeah, right. Yeah, after hours trading.
Which, not being kind of a big market guy, it's kind of like the whole thing. It's like, okay, the market's closed. How is there like after hours trading? And the same thing as rolling in there like Chick-fil-A on Sunday.
Oh man,
You can't do like after hours chickening.
after hours chickening. Yeah, I want to open a chain just called Sunday Filet. That's only open on Sundays. That makes a very similar but slightly different product to Chick-fil-A.
You just, I mean, shorten that right up, Sunfilet.
Be 1/7 the size. I need 1/7 the employees. I would really run on the same margins as them, but just 1/7.
You wouldn't make the sandwich 1/7 the size, would you?
No, I just mean in terms of operating the business.
So, well, actually,
I would
you
only
could.
open on Sunday.
If you were to make the sandwich 1/7 the size, you could specialize in sliders. So you'd
That's
have slider Sunday.
That's true. Dustin Henches and Sean Hart, the first of 2.5 pairs to set up our semifinal for this Mosier Engineering $30,000 Thursday. Burnout for Austin Williams as Henches will wait to back up before going through the water box. Burnout in the water box, pulls it out with the tires smoking. So Austin Williams, 460 won the dial on the right side of the drag strip, 617 the dial for Dustin Henches of Olympia, Washington in the silver 1969 Camaro. They're both fully staged. Reaction time, Williams pours on the coals at the finish line, but it's Henches. A 009 light, he is 1 over, 618 on a 617 dial. He puts together a nice solid run, takes 1,800 worth of stripe and wins the drag race. Austin Williams also 1 over, but he was way behind on the starting line.
Well, Dylan Howe, who is getting his bye run here, 460 is what we're looking at. And with Dustin Henches already advancing, we know that Thomas has had a solo shot. Dylan is getting his here. Wait here in a moment in the water box and we'll see what's going to happen as Dylan is just going to take a free look at 460, which he has been locked in on all afternoon. From a 007 last time down the racetrack to a 008 this time, and I'm not sure if he lifted or what exactly happened there. It sounded like he lifted just before the finish line.
Yeah, Speedway down to 127, so probably ran it, 500 feet or so, and then clicked it off, knowing that we would like him to be requesting his presence back in the lanes.
Yes. Yes.
Nicky Thomas and Don Butkowicz.
So the question here, we've had a door car advance, we've had a dragster advance.
Yeah, this is going to tip the balance of power here.
It will. Will it be the dragster surrounding the door car, or will the door cars surround Dylan's dragster? Nicky Thomas dialed in at 633, Don Butkowicz dialed in at 484. Oh, we'll see what happens here. Waits long enough. Nicky Thomas is down to the stripe, and it's going to be the door cars that will surround Dylan's dragster. 17 on the tree and dead on 2 for Nicky Thomas in the S10 pickup truck. Don Butkowicz had an 0:21 reaction time, runs 27 thou above the dial to be 29 thou behind at the stripe as Butkowicz will exit here in the quarterfinals. Thomas will take the 0:17 light. And given the fact that Dylan Howe was coming back off the bye, unofficially, according to what I got here in the tower, it's going to be Dustin Henches coming back on the bye.
Wow.
That's unofficially.
Unofficially.
Completely unofficial. So a Camaro, an S10 pickup truck, and the dragster. And Dylan Howe is just like...
We're all in a boat. And
an S10, a Camaro, and a dragster walk into a bar.
Yeah.
One of them is going to walk out with $30,000. That's the whole joke.
That's the whole joke.
It's a terrible joke. I'm going to agree with you, Wayne. Old Dawn did pretty good for the long drive out of New Jersey. Door car won last night.
Not only a door car, a bottom bulbing door car.
Yes.
We still have one of those.
We do. We do.
It's a door truck, but, you know, we've established that.
It's still an awesome piece of machinery. Peter's in here making my suspicion official. Dustin Hinches will be on the bye run, and it'll be Dylan Howe coming back with lane choice over Nicky Thomas.
Man.
We're calculating.
Yeah, we're calculating. We went to the library, now we're calculating. And I'm going to ask you a question.
Are you going to ask me a question? Let me go ahead and answer that for you. Oh, so yep. Hinches on the bye. Lane choice for Dylan Howe over Nicky Thomas. Those are the final three standing for $30,000. On Mosier Thursday, I'm going to put out kind of this final reminder. Again, if you're thinking about getting your tech card, there's still time tonight. Get up here, get your tech card purchased. That way in the morning, you can sit back and sip your coffee while everybody else is running around frantically trying to, I mean, I have seen it. The line gets pretty long trying to get those tech cards in the morning. So if you've already got yours, that might be the way to go about it. Just something to consider.
For those of you asking or wondering out there, 8 a.m. start time tomorrow with our run for the 50K. Brought to us by Brodix. That'll be happening at 8 a.m. Another reason to grab your tech card tonight if you're going to be part of the million, so you don't have to be really rushing around trying to get to the lanes, do this deal at 8 a.m., yada, yada, yada. Now we need our semifinal to the lanes, please. The official call coming out right now. Semifinal to the lanes, please. Dylan, Nikki, and Dustin. Let's roll them in. Semifinals to the staging lanes, please. Two down, one to go for our semifinal round in terms of our participants in the lanes. Once we get them all stacked in there, it'll be go time, and Henches has the bye, so we know that much already. We know that's one half of the final. Well, all 3 of our semi-finalists are down in the staging lanes. I'm sure once again engaging in some negotiations.
Trying to decide what's the best way to divvy up the money that's left on the table. And once they decide on the divvying,
I'm seeing headlights and hearing engines already, so I think the divvying's been divvied.
and the deal is done.
The deal may be done.
The deal is done.
The Eagle has landed.
Well, you're welcome there, Mr. Brandon Lundeen. Headed down here. You guys going to play along with us tomorrow on a big money day? That's the way to go. I saw on your guys' feed that you were taking care of some final softball games, and then we're heading down here to do a little bit of drag racing, which is good. Good, good. In the final.
Just not, yeah. We're not guaranteed the, yeah.
We're not guaranteed the dragster. Dorcar, Nikki's probably sitting up there going, wait a damn minute here.
Wait a second
Wait
here.
a damn minute here.
Yep, I was had it crossed up. Dylan had the bye last round. Dylan and Nikki heading up toward the starting line right now. Nikki Thomas will be on the left-hand side, the Las Vegas Travel Tourism Board side of the drag strip, driving her 1991 S10 pickup truck, dialed 633. Dylan Howe going to be on the Pennzoil side, dialed 458 in the dragster, which has been absolutely on point time and time again. We went to do a burnout, and the thing did not seem to be the happiest. Oh, crew guy running over there. I mean, the crew guy came in very hot.
So it's not like Dustin's car. Rolled out of the water box and quit.
It was actually Justin Lamb that ran in there, right?
It looked like Justin.
Yeah, that is Justin.
Justin
Lamb that came in like Carl Lewis to the left side.
I was just about to say, like, trying out for the Olympic team.
I don't know where he even ran from. He like leaped over the fence, combat roll over the wall, and there he was.
Like Superman out of a phone booth.
Saving Howe's bacon. Nikki Thomas, like, who is that masked man?
Okay, so here's what I'm thinking right now. Dylan Howe, young driver, not a ton of experience in this. You come out of the water box, the car quits, and now at this point it's like, all right, just recenter.
Yeah, we got to find out how he deals with it. That's a good one here. The pressure has mounted. Nikki Thomas waiting in pre-stage. There's Dylan. Mom and Dad looking on.
Handled it just fine. Dylan Howe, 10 on the tree and 459 on a 458 for Dylan. Nikki Thomas had an 0.29 reaction time, so a 19 thousandths disadvantage at this end of the racetrack. Ends up 633 on a 633 and it will be a Dragster door car final as it was last night. Nikki Thomas bows out here in the round of 3, and Dylan Howe will be coming back to take on Dustin Henches for $30,000 on a Mosier Engineering Thursday.
Man, unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable, as Dustin Henches of Olympia, Washington has the luxury, let's call it what it is, a luxury of a bye run into the final round. Get your head right, get yourself centered. As you said before, Dylan dealt with the pressure of that moment handily, hit the tree for 10. Shut it off early, goes 6:24.5 at 103.04 miles an hour. And as a wise man once said, and then there were 2.
I'll tell you what, credit where credit's due to our Gear Wrench Pro Field. Between last night, Andy Schmall taking it all the way down to the final round and lighting up the last light of the night. Tonight, Nikki Thomas coming in, getting in the ladder round, going 2 more rounds deep to get into the semifinals. That Gear Wrench Pro Field, as Andy said last night, full of heavy hitters, full of big-time players, and definitely not a group to be taken lightly at any point throughout this week.
It's really interesting, and it it goes back to, I don't even know what it goes back to, but to me, I look at the bottom bulb racers, especially ones that we've watched the last couple of days, where they find their rhythm, they find their spot, and it's like it all goes back to the human machine, right? It goes whether you're setting your delay box up, you got to let go of the button. There are things that have to happen on that side of the coin, but there are other things that have to happen on the foot brake side that it almost seems like the physiology of a human being when they get it figured out. And you can pinpoint, and that's the magic of it. And you just watch these guys and girls just do it again and again and again. It's just unreal.
It is really, truly an amazing feat to watch as they, again, the repeatability factor.
Yeah, that's what gets me the most. I mean, it's like, not that I'm never impressed with somebody who can hit the tree a couple times that for a double O or something, but when you watch somebody that just shows up here, and we've seen these guys and girls racing since 8 o'clock this morning, I mean, we started with 400-something cars this morning, 9-round race, basically.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are close. And once again, another door car versus dragster shootout. This one going to be a pair of Super Pro cars, obviously, but, man, Nikki getting down to the final 3, that was cool. I was really, really wanting to see the S10 take on the 69 Camaro in the final. But nothing to sneeze at, dude. She did awesome. Like, that thing was running great. Foot braking that thing. Man, gotta be feeling good going into tomorrow. I gotta say, if you were anybody that was in the top 16 tonight, you gotta feel pretty good going into tomorrow. So keeping that mojo good. I don't know if you drink a beer tonight or not, or if you just go get a really good night's sleep. So once again, the staff here has done a phenomenal job getting all of this racing in tonight. We have 9 rounds of action that we did today. Remember, tomorrow morning, we're going to go live right around 8 o'clock again. Tomorrow we have the reaction time challenge. We have the Brodix Perfect Run challenge, which will be happening first thing. Okay, so the very first thing that we'll do is we go and we're going to do the Perfect Run challenge. So the way that's going to work, it's the, run for 50 grand, right? So if you can run and make a perfect run, okay, so you got to put your dial in, all right, and you run trip zip on reaction time and dead on with a 0 on your ET, then you win 50 grand cash right then. They're going to pay you the 50 grand right then. Now, there's also best package award. So the number 1 best package, if nobody wins the 50K, gets a set of Brodix SR20 heads. Now, if you won the 50K, I assume you also get the SR20 heads. But anyway, that's a $5,300 value. And then the best package, number 2 best package is going to get 2 grand in cash. And the number 3 best package is going to get a $2,000 value million entry for 2022, which is going to be cool. So, but here's the other part about it that I really like. So this is new. if the perfect run is not made during the Brodix, time trial session, right? Which you have to pay $50 to get in. Anybody that's entered in the race, you pay $50 and you get to make a hit on the racetrack. So if nobody wins in the Brodix run for the 50K, nobody makes that perfect run, but somebody does make a perfect run during the million race, which is immediately following. At any time during the million race, the first person to do that is going to get 20 grand. So it may not be the 50, but it might be a 20. So it's going to be pretty good. And I'm pretty excited about that. That is a cool new addition to the entire event this year. It's going to be cool. Earlier, you saw me, I showed you guys some of the winners who had won some of the 60 grand in product giveaways that they are already doing. It was 30 something winners already, which is just unbelievable. Some of you were asking how much it costs to enter this race. So the entry fees to race Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday, right? So yesterday, today, and Saturday's race. So the 330K races are $690. That's for all 3 days. The $1 million entry is $2 grand, so that's what it costs to race tomorrow. And you can do a single day entry for $295 for Wednesday, Thursday, or Saturday. And then the Dragster shootout that we did on Tuesday was a separate entry thing that you had to sign up for ahead of time. So yeah, and everything obviously, as you've seen, is run 8th mile. Let's see what else. Blah, blah, blah. I know that the guys have explained True Start multiple times, so that's great. As you guys have seen, door cars versus door cars, dragsters versus dragsters. So Super Pro door cars and dragsters run separate until the ladder round, which is 16 cars or less on all 4 days. And the pro car that comes in, or dragster, okay, whoever the pro winner is not entered into the rest of the mix until after that first round laddered round. So yeah, it's a pretty cool deal. So that's the all new Gear Wrench Pro field. So they're eligible for the same round money, purse, and prizes as Super Pro, plus an additional Pro treasure chest, which is $500 bonus fund, etc. So it depends on the day. We are starting tomorrow 8 a.m. for the 50K, and then the million will immediately follow. So there you go. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. Should be cool. I mean, it's life-changing money right there. And so if you so here's the guaranteed purse, okay, is at least 250 grand to the winner. Okay. No matter how many cars, if 5 people signed up, it's 250 grand. I mean, obviously way more than 5 people are signing up, but runner up is 30 grand. Semifinalists get 10 grand. 7th round wins $7,500. Assuming the race goes 10 rounds. Okay. These numbers could fluctuate a tiny bit. 6th round is 4 grand. 5th round is 3 grand. 4th round is 2 grand. 3rd round is when you start winning. You win $1 grand. Okay, so 4th round win pays for you to do it. And there is a first round buyback. So if you lose first round, you can buy back for $500. So everybody that enters into the million considers it a $2,500 entry, because you're not going to pay the $2 grand and then lose in the first round and not do buybacks. I mean, who would do that? So right now, like yesterday, we had 429 cars, right? So if you assumed that all of them were going to enter the million, which I don't think it'll be that many, it typically is not. It's not everybody. That would be somewhere between 425 entries is $600,000. And here, I'll shrink this down so you guys can see this. So let's see here. Okay, here we go. So, all right. So 425 cars would be 600 grand. 450 cars is 750,000. So obviously 429 would be, you know, what, like 620 grand or something. 610,000, whatever. Yes, a $500 buyback is, whew, that's for sure, but you're racing for $1 million. I mean, or well, hundreds of thousands. I'm guaranteed 250 grand at least. So, Tom Worthington, I never buy back. Dude, I buy back. Not always, but it depends on how things are going. So the last West Coast bracket race I was at, I was actually racing it in a rental car. And it was a Ford Mustang and it sucked. And it literally, like, I had to do all kinds of stuff to keep it from being pissed off because it doesn't like doing burnouts. It doesn't like doing anything, right? It's just horrible. So anyway, I finally got this car where I could leave. Like, I did all the time trials and test sessions and all the junk. And each day was a separate day. And I lost the first day and the second day. Third day, finally, this thing is like running the number. And I got I can cut a light with it. And I'm all excited. Finally, we can go rounds. I'm with Trevor and Trey and all my boys. And then the stupid thing shuts itself off and goes into full limp mode. Second round, and I was out. It sucked. Oh, well. Yeah. Buybacks do matter, actually. In a lot of cases, and I'm not saying this is the case here because I don't know, but I would assume it matters. In a lot of races, where they're doing big money and you do the math on what the entries are, dude, the money the promoter actually makes, if they're doing giveaways and they're doing all this and they're doing a big purse, it's just from the buybacks. Like, I know people that put on races that are, $50,000 races and stuff, and the only money they make is the few grand off of the buybacks. So, that's because they're giving all of it back to the racers. So, yeah. So buybacks matter.
All right, so we get our final set back tomorrow morning.
Nate is talking about tomorrow morning and about getting our racers back up. So, yeah, built Ford tough. I hate Fords, as you well know. I shouldn't say that. They're great for other people. If you love your Ford as much as I love my, if you like your Mustang as much as I like my Camaro, then it's all good. And again, this was a rental car. I mean, I couldn't, wasn't exactly like it was set up to be racing. Steve Valdez in his house. So let's see. All right, big thanks to Holly. I'm going to take this opportunity right now to do our thanks. Oh, so tonight, as soon as we're done, we're going to go to the winner's circle. I mean, as far as for video. And then tomorrow, we're going to do the now famous, and I say now famous because, yes, duh, famous. We're going to do the now famous Chad drives the scissor lift to the winner's circle. Okay, live. So we are doing that tomorrow. Okay, tonight we're just going to zoom in on the winner's circle, but it's a much bigger spectacle tomorrow, right? So we're driving down the drag strip, and we're going to get over there, and it's going to beep the whole way, and everybody's going to be laughing and making smart ass remarks, and it's going to be awesome because somebody is going to have won hundreds of thousands of dollars. So it's going to be cool. And dude, oh my God, Steve, oh my God, dude, I think I need to name it the Peep. I think you just named the Civic, dude. It is the Peep. Oh my God, that's so good. Sorry. For those of you that don't know, like, I own every car I own is some, GM, old, thing that makes, well, like the dually, whatever the 1987 454 makes, and all the way up to the wagon that makes, 1,500 horsepower, right? So, and then there's the Civic. And I own a 1993 Honda Civic VX that was Richard Holdner's, and you all know Richard. And it's an ultra high mileage vehicle. And I don't mean like it has 360,000 miles on it, which it does. But I mean that it gets 50 plus miles to the gallon. And everyday driving mixed in town and on the highway gets 48 or 49 miles to the gallon, unless it's real cold. And then it still gets like 42. Ooh. But like driving down the freeway, it's 54 or 55 miles an hour. 54 or 55 miles to the gallon. It's crazy. And it's uglier than sin dipped in misery. It is like, oh my God, it's awful. It is so horrible yellow, and it is just bad. Steve saw it. Well, it is official, dude. It is the Peep, dude. That is the name of the Civic from here on out. I may have to get that as a license plate. It's too rad. I love it. Steve, you're a genius. To everybody that's thanking me in the chat for doing the live feed, you are welcome. I appreciate the thanks. It is brutal being up here. Today sucked. Dude, the wind today was arguably more annoying than Tuesday. It just, like, every time the weather report said it was going away, it didn't, or it went away for 10 minutes and then was like, I'm back. And it sucked. So yeah, I was like, oh my God, it was horrible. Anyway, right now it's nice, but I will tell you that I am feeling it on the back of my legs, which means it is blowing the opposite direction than it has been blowing most of the day. So that's the weird part, dude. For the first time, we had a tailwind all morning. Every bit of wind we've had the rest of the event has been smacking their face. Well, now we got a little bit of a breeze. I'm going to say 4.9 miles an hour. Will that matter? Probably not. But we'll see. Let's see, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Mopar Man, I do need a plexiglass booth. The unfortunate part about trying to do two things, shade and wind protection on the scissor lift, is that they're not all the same. And no matter what you reserve, they end up being different. So you need something very flexible. And because it's so windy, if it isn't legit, like, it will try and blow off or drag this thing over with it. And that would all suck. So, yeah. Oh, if you're watching right now, you bastards, it's 11:68. Hit the like button right now. There's 1,168 of you. I'll tell you what, you guys are missing out. I have proposed a contest, and I am going to do it in an event this year. It's just not happening here, but where it's going to be very important for you guys to comment and like the live stream. And when I say very important, I'm talking or parts, like, seriously. So hit the like button. Come on, people. It's 9:48. This is probably the earliest that I've ever been almost done at a spring fling night, but still, okay? Brad Paddock, the chin is cold, dude, right there. It's cold. That's why I've been wearing my mask. That's why I wear my mask all the time, is because it keeps my face warm. And the other thing is that because it's been cool here the whole time, I've been wearing, a hoodie and everything the whole time. The other nice thing about this is that it protects the old moneymaker here so that it doesn't get sunburned. You go, get yourself all stealth out. Oh, by the way, if you are looking for really badass brakes or struts or shocks or any fun goodies for your hot rod or symmetrical housing ends, hit the boys and girls up at Lamb Components. And if you tell them Chad sent you, they will send you a hat or a beanie or some swag with your order. Tell them Chad sent you, and they will. You want the most badass bearings on the block? Ceramic. All stock eliminator guys, a bunch of them, all of them running the ceramic bearing packages from Lamb. Dude, literally, like, You can spin a front wheel in the air. It will spin for minutes, like a long time. It's really cool. Makes the car like super easy to push, which makes it faster as well. 2 words, engine hardware. See, there you go. Come on. Steven Umberger, I can't tell you yet. Dude, Texas Automotive, which is funny since you're in Australia. It's near beer o'clock. I thought in Australia it was always beer o'clock. The natives are getting restless. They keep honking to tell them to get your butts up there. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Now the wind is seriously picking up in comparison. Look. This is, a minute ago I could barely feel it on my legs when I said it. Now, Greg Hindman, you get ceramic bearings from Lamb Components. And none of the rest of them are the same as the ones from Lamb. The reason I say that is because the process Lamb uses for putting them together uses all Timken parts, and they're the only company allowed to do it. So, trust me. I am excited to run the finals as well, Candace Weaver. Why, thank you, Conquer Racing. I appreciate it. Brr. It's chilly. Luther Bordenaro. Dude, we've been going through them fast tonight. Ah, see, Ty Gaynor knows what he's talking about. Yes, Umberger, you do. And I do too. If you guys don't follow me on Facebook, do so. I know everybody can't be friends because it's Facebook. But follow me, like sign up to get notifications and stuff, because on most Tuesday nights, like if I wasn't here streaming this, I do a show with Lyle Barnett called Beards, Burnouts, and Beer, and you can guess what it's about, and it's awesome, and we have a good time, and it's on Facebook, and we laugh, and we talk about racing, we talk about having fun, and we do all kinds of stuff, and it's a good time, and so you should join us. It is a great way to spend your Tuesday evening, and I know the wind is killing this mic, so there we go. I hear cars coming. The finals right here is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the 30K Mosier Thursday at the Spring Fling Million.
Now, Mom Mindy checking the tire pressure. Dad standing in front. The point given, the dragster pulls ahead. For Dustin Henches, rolls through the water box, has driven an incredible race. You don't get here by accident. You don't get here because of a couple of happy coincidences. You pick your spots, you land your punches when you can land.
Well, Dylan Howe doing almost the semi-celebratory burnout.
Listen, it is a moment of triumph no matter what happens regarding the win light, and of course he wants it, but it is a great moment of triumph in a very young career right now for Dylan Howe just to be sitting here.
Totally it is. Dustin Henches, and we saw wife Shelby, is watching along online, paying very close attention to what happens in this final round. As Dustin is dialed in at 6:17, Dylan is dialed in at 4:58. And once again, it comes down to a dragster versus door car, just like we had last night. The question is, will the door cars raise the roof on the place twice in a row?
Probable 006, and it's Henches. 618, 617 dial. Henches was 006, took 18th out at the finish line for the win light. Howe was 60 on a 58 dial and 14 on the tree. A great race by both drivers, but it's Dustin Hench's the winner.
Dustin Hench's 006 at this end of the racetrack, and a one above run to make it so far door cars to the front in both $30,000 races.
Who'da thunk it?
Who'da thunk?
Now let's run
car
for
with the
roughly,
trunk.
let's run for a minimum of what? 8 times that tomorrow, minimum.
Yeah.
Going up from there. We'll find out how the door slammers fare during that contest.
What was it you brought up yesterday with the vice?
Oh yeah, it's like, just like a bench vise. You just keep turning the handle, and eventually you get massive pressure, and that's exactly what everybody was feeling today. And tomorrow it just goes up that much more exponentially because of the size of the purse. I'm going to make my way down to the winner's circle, man. We're going to talk to Dustin when he comes around the bend.
You do that, and while you're doing that, I'm going to sit up here and say what you said last night. Ladies and gentlemen, racers, for everybody that's come through the gate, for everybody that's watching online, for everybody that's working here at the event, we want to say thank you so very much for spending your day with us, for spending the time with us, for being here to race as part of the Spring Fling $1 million event. Again, K&N Spring Fling $1 million Friday coming up tomorrow. We are at the close of a Mosier Engineering $30,000 to win Thursday, with Dustin Henches going to be collecting up the big check. But on behalf of all of us here at the Strip at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, on behalf of all of us here at the Spring Fling family, for the crew, on behalf of Peter, Kyle, and Emily, and every single one of us donning a Spring Fling shirt, we would not be able to do this if it weren't for you racers showing up big and continuing to support what is being done here. So thank you so much. We appreciate everybody there on the live feed. You guys in the chat bleachers keep us entertained and informed, hopefully as much as we are able to help you out as well. But we certainly are grateful for all of you being out there. Thank you. Have a great night, and we will see you back out here in the morning. Once again, 8 a.m. we'll start things off with that $50,000 Brodix Run for the Money. Again, we'll start with Pro, then we'll get into Super Pro Door Car, then Dragster. Whether you're racing in the million or not, you get an opportunity to participate. But for tonight, everybody get a good night's rest. We'll be back soon, and I'm actually looking at the live feed here. Dustin Hench's car is stopped up there on the return road. I'm guessing possibly taking a moment to get on the call, get on the phone and call his wife Shelby at home and spend a little time talking to her. But I'm still not seeing Dustin's car moving and headed this way.
Somebody tell him to hang up the phone. We're the wind is picking up big down here. I don't know what's wrong with the car, but obviously something's wrong. The most entertaining part about this is that this is the easiest racetrack on earth to get to the winter circle at, because it's all downhill. Like, you can roll right on down there if you can just get past that little flat spot where he's at right there. So, God, looks like they got a golf cart and stuff up there. So hopefully they're gonna hook up and drag him. Yes, he's a rolling, boys and girls. He's a rolling. This is gonna be a good story. I guarantee it. Oh, jeez.
Down here in the winner's circle right now with Dustin Hitchens as he is getting handed the trophy, and man, test. Step. Night?
Did soccer practice. So it's been a lot of phone calls, a lot of FaceTime. Last night and today, X-rays, CAT scans, that kind of stuff. So it's kind of weird. Didn't think it happened this way.
Let's. What was kind of the biggest round?
Probably the one against Sean Hart. So that was the luck one right there.
Talk to your wife at all before the final round or just after?
Just after. So then I think I flooded the car up there.
Well, man, congratulations. It was a blast watching the entire day. Incredible competition. Now, the big question is, are you going to enter the big one tomorrow?
Yeah, for sure. So
there you go. Enjoy the $30,000. Dear, congratulations, Dustin.
Well, congratulations. Obviously, the audio from their wireless mic not working here, it's always sketchy. So we will get the video of the interview from Drag Champ for tomorrow. So you guys will get to see that. But what an awesome win. Congratulations to the entire team. I mean, how cool is that? I don't know what was wrong with the car up there, but they'll fix it. Obviously, he said they're going to enter tomorrow, so it must not be a big deal. I'm sure they can get it fixed tonight. No celebrating, just fixing and get ready to race tomorrow. Again, awesome job, Dustin. Seriously cool to watch. I'm a 69 Camaro owner, and so I love it. So to all of you guys that have watched with us all day, thank you very much. To everybody that is going to tune in tomorrow, remember, when you first get to the page in the morning, click on the like button, that big thumbs up. Also, click ring the bell, and you'll be notified whenever we do any of our live broadcasts, which there are going to be tons of them in 2021. So, to all of you, big thanks to my folks over here at Holly, as well as Jags and Hoosier and Mosier for being the sponsor here at Mosier Thursday at the K&N Spring Fling presented by Optima Batteries. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it so much. We will see you tomorrow.
Greg Mocha, you gonna take the win?